Salut pour tous, soyez les bienvenus dans le programme Planète Kitab avec Adesanete. We are talking about the performing arts and the science, specifically the science of the environmental, social environmental impacts of each show. And I was telling you about the greenhouse gases involved on realizing a determined spectacle. Specifically, we are talking about the theater, and I must correct the data that I gave you. Each person watching a show, a theater show in Brazil would generate between 150 and 200 grams of CO2 per show. And in the other countries, for example, in the United States, around 300, and in Europe, around 300 grams of CO2 per individual that is watching the show. And we have scientific, technical indicators to measure this impact, and we have dramaturgy indicators to measure the impact of the plate also in the public. From the technical and scientific point of view, we will accounting, for example, for the use of air conditioner, refrigerators, fire extinguisher equipment. We will account for the consumption of electricity, which has greenhouse gas associated to it. We will account for the fossil fuels used on the transportation of equipment and the artists to the show. We will also measure the consumption of fossil fuels to transport the show between cities, and the public that comes and goes into the show also we can account for the consumption of fossil fuels. And we will also have to account for the generation of solid residues and liquid effluents. Everything will be accounted for in order to showcase how was the environmental impact of that spectacle, specifically on greenhouse gas emissions. From the dramaturgy point of view, we will analyze when this is an educative plate, as most of the scientists does, or an integrative one. We will watch at the quality of the text, the performance of the artists. We will analyze if this is a comedy, a drama, a tragedy, which kind of dramaturgy is being used, which kind of language, the meta language, the absurd, in order to disseminate, transmit that message. And then we have a combination of both, the science and the artist. We will have scientists learning how to communicate science with art, and we will have artists that we will be communicating the science itself. Followers to learn more. Let God's peace and the love that builds be our weapons on our daily struggle for justice. Adesanete for tous les amis africains.